let's go to the railroad strikey article there from the Idaho Statesman, and I just realized that I actually listened to this article instead of reading it, but I still heard information. So this is an interesting story. So this is something that continues to develop, as you know. Railroad workers have been, I mean, going through it with the fucking billionaires and the Biden administration running interference for all the fucking billionaires, right? So let me pull this up from the Idaho Statesman. Yes, and yes. But the long and the short of it is, what's going on here? The long and the short of it is that the opportunities for a strike are very much still there. They are very much still there, and they could definitely still happen because the largest railroad union did not accept the contract or accept the offer that was set forth by the railways. Get this out of here. How come every time I understand why print journalism is dying, and I'm gonna tell y'all why just very briefly, because every time I try to go to a newspaper article, they are killing me, Smalls, with fucking pop-ups begging for $1. And I believe in supporting local media, but damn, Idaho Statesman, I don't come to your website enough for you to be trying to shake me down for $1 just so I can read, just so I can read this article out to my internet friends. I find it very offensive, and I'm not too pleased with this. So domine une minute. Spasiba. Why don't this thing go away? It's not going away. Yeah, maybe later. Haha, there we go. Alrighty. So the Idaho Statesman is reporting about the railroad strike. Well, not actually a strike, but potentially looming strike. So the headline reads: Large rail union rejects deal renewing strike possibility. Now, if there is a strike possibility, it's going to come in November, because that is how long the workers have agreed to work through these negotiations until the possibility of a strike comes back. So let me read this to you. The US's third largest railroad union rejected a deal with employers on Monday, renewing the possibility of a strike that could cripple the economy. Both sides will return to the bargaining table before that happens. Over half of the track maintenance workers represented by the Brotherhood of the Maintenance of Way Employees Division, who voted opposed the 5-year contract. Now listen to this, guys. They opposed the 5-year contract offer that they were given, despite 24% raises and $5,000 in bonuses. Do you understand how fucked up these people's working conditions have to be for them to turn down a 24% raise and a $5,000 bonus? Like, just think about that. Think about that. I don't even know what job you work, but I assure you, if your boss said, "Hey, would you like a 25% raise?" And for you to say no, 25%, 24% raise and 5 Gs, and you say no, that should give you an indication of how dire and how desperate these people are to maintain or to achieve some sort of work-life balance that they clearly do not have whilst riding the railways. Okay. So yes, they turned down 24% in raises and $5,000 in bonuses. Union President Tony Cardwell said that the railroads didn't do enough to address the lack of paid time off. That is a big sticking point here, particularly sick time and working conditions after the major railroads eliminated nearly 1/3 of their jobs over the past 6 years. I need to do some more research because I do not understand. I can only assume downsizing their labor force, cutting costs on payroll, etc. But what there had to have been another sinister, more ulterior motive for these rich fuckers to downsize the railroad and maintenance workers by a third in 6 years. That sounds untenable. Let's say that. Quote, railroads are discouraged and upset with working conditions and compensation and hold their employers in low regard. Responders do not feel valued, said Cardwell in a statement. They still resent the fact that management holds no regard for their quality of life, illustrated by their illustrated by their stubborn reluctance to provide higher quantity of paid time off, especially in sickness. They were giving people a hard fucking time about paid sick time off during a pandemic. Pieces of shit. The group that represents the railroads in negotiation said that they were disappointed that the union rejected the agreement, but emphasized that no immediate threat of a strike exists because the union has agreed to keep working for now. And I think that date is going to expire on November the 19th. Now, four other railroad unions have approved their agreements with freight railroads, including BNSF, Union Pacific, Kansas City Southern, CSX, and Norfolk Southern. But all 12 unions representing 115,000 workers must ratify their contract in order to prevent a strike. Another union, the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, initially rejected their deal, but they have since renegotiated a new contract. Voting will be completed in mid November. You guys know anyway, I just want one of these sectors to shut down. Right? Is it if it's the rail workers, cool. If it's the Amazon workers, cool. If it's the nurses, I would hate to see it be the nurses for obvious reasons, but if it is the nurses, cool. Like I one whole sector has to say fuck this shit to kick off a general strike. I think if we can get one entire sector of the working people to say no to go on strike, I really think you could get other sectors to I won't say easily join in, but I think people would definitely consider it very strongly. Very strongly. So there's that. We're going to keep an eye on the railroad workers and what's going on there.